Hey there, evolutionary. Joe Heller, and I'm absolutely thrilled that you're here today because today I'm going to go kind of into the woods a little bit. I've had a couple of my subscribers go, Joe, you promised like to dispel some myths and like talk about some false teachings. So can you do some of that? Because we're like eating our popcorn, ready to like jump into some of these things you want to share with us. So here I am today. I'm going to talk about the law of attraction and how the law of attraction is a false teaching. Yeah, I know. I just got like in trouble with like 1,000 or 1,000,000 like law of attraction teachers out there. But it is a false teaching because I would say that the people that are teaching the law of attraction are following this credence that was set by the movie The Secret, which is just not true. It may be somewhat true for mortals and mortal law, but it is not an overall escape from Earth School. And I'm going to go in and explain it to you right now. And people go, well, Joe, why are you the expert? Well, I'm the expert because I can see energy. I feel in my head, I lived out of my body, and I'm able to see things that other people can't. And I can see, and I've got hundreds and hundreds of drawings of energy and how energy works. And anyway, it's kind of crazy because I see all this crazy stuff. And anyway, what I'm trying to do here in this particular episode is translate some of that so that you kind of understand and follow along, because I want you to not just trust me. I want you to think logically and then think from the perspective of an angelic being, because it's really important for you to understand the perception of what the law of attraction does, and attraction in general, just in common physics. So why don't we go down kind of a quick list, and there's more to this, but I'm trying to keep this video somewhat short. So again, welcome evolutionary, and get ready to kind of like bolt on, and yeah, it's going to be pretty exciting, I think. So the law of attraction, false serving. So why is it a false teaching? Well, number one, it is self-serving. Well, that's a pretty obvious one, right? Because if you are practicing the law of attraction, whether it's for $1,000,000 or whether it's for that perfect mate, it is self-serving. It is all about you. Which, from a mortal standpoint, if you're, 17 years old and you're trying to attract the perfect mate or, whatever, for a date, that's kind of okay. But we need to evolve and kind of look at things kind of beyond. Even though we're still human, we need to understand the perception of how and where we are going to evolve in order to ascend. And so, essentially, attraction is self-serving. It is disharmonious. And you're like, Joe, that's a pretty big word. I'm like, yeah, I know it's a big word, but it creates disharmony. And, look at disharmony. Well, let me show you this in a second. It creates a void, thereby creating a vacuum. And what do I mean by that? Well, if you're going to attract something, it creates a void, right? So then there's got to be stuff that fills in that void. It's pretty obvious. If you're going to attract something from something, you're essentially knocking, let's say, the moon out of its orbit, because you've created this attraction. You've knocked it out of its natural progression of attunement or the alignment with the Earth and the rest of the stars. So what happens is you've just created chaos. You've just killed everybody on Earth. Not really, but I hope you get the message. So it negatively impacts your karmic record. Now, this is a big one because a lot of people just kind of see negative karma, but you can also accumulate positive karma. And of course, then there's neutral karma, which a lot of people don't really talk about, but it's very key to accumulate positive karma. And while this particular video isn't going to talk specifically about that, I want you to be aware that if you are creating a void, you're creating disharmony, you're creating a self-serving environment, you're creating a negative impact on your karmic record. Now, why do I say that? Well, every spiritual teacher, let me reframe that, every true, real spiritual teacher understands the law of one, which was given to us back in the 60s and early 70s. So the law of one really kind of dictates service to all versus service to self. And so the law of attraction is clearly all about service to self. And if you're about service to self, you are creating negative karma. Sorry, but you're creating negative karma. Now, here's one of the other interesting things about this, and I kind of drew this out so hopefully you can understand it a little bit better. So when you're creating this void, this disharmony, you're actually siloing yourself, right? So here you are, or whoever that person is using the law of attraction, because I know by the end of this video, you're not going to be going like, oh, I'm an LOI person. You're going to be like leaving like random comments on these LOA teacher YouTube channels. I mean, I've done that, and it's actually pretty funny, the responses. This guy I did the other day, he's like going, talking about the law of vibration. I'm like, you know, vibration is an effect. It's a causation. It's not the causation, it's actually an effect. So I kind of like wrote some stuff about that, and I said it's impossible for an effect to be a law, and got quite a few likes on that. It was actually pretty interesting. So if you're following the law of attraction, you're actually creating a silo, and you siloed yourself off. So let's look at this in a way of, let's say you got 100 of these people going across, and you're trying to win the lottery. So every person in this, because they're trying to attract winning the lottery, they've now perceived and created this ocean of lack, L-A-C-K. You cannot attract anything unless you are lacking it. It is, well, that's just a fact. I mean, you can't attract something unless you are in lack. And what you're doing is you're reinforcing lack, which again heads up to the disharmony, creating a vacuum, yada, yada, yada. And it also creates dilution, because what's happening is you're diluting each other's energy fields. Now again, that's a whole different and a very broad conversation that I can go down into the rabbit hole on. But for right now, I want you to understand that you are diluting the energy field of the other person, which again is causing harm. And what does the Bible or any religious text talk about? It actually talks, it speaks directly to thou shalt not kill, thou shalt do no harm, because what you're doing is you are essentially stealing, because you created a competitive environment by enacting this so-called law of attraction. So again, it creates negative karma. And here's the big thing about negative karma. And you know, why you can have fun here, and certainly I know I did when I was younger. Negative karma keeps you in the reincarnation cycle. You don't graduate from Earth school. You need to have positive karma to ascend and evolve. You can't have negative karma. Otherwise, you will come back to Earth school again and again and again and again. And you know, and the classes are like really wicked long, like 12,000 years. So you don't want to do that. So we are electromagnetic beings. So everybody knows that. At least I hope you know that. So, and that's what I dropped. So as a part of being an electromagnetic being, we know, and of course the big thing about the law of attraction is like attracts like. Well, look, if I were to take a magnet, because remember, we're electromagnetic beings, and I do this, putting south to south, it doesn't stay. Or I can do north to north, and guess what? It doesn't stay either. But if I do this, how odd. Opposites attract. Well, gee, right there. Because remember, I can't hold on to these things. Remember, our heart creates this electromagnetic field. So we shall live and die by the energetic resonance of our heart. And this is really important for everybody to understand, because the heart is the seat of the soul. And so if the heart is being misused, you're creating negative karma. So as we, and I have to kind of do that little picture of the magnets here. I probably didn't need to even have the magnets in my hand. So people that are, again, selling this law of attraction stuff and teaching this law of attraction, and there's some big names out there teaching it. But these people came from the personal development, for the most part, personal development side. And I would say they can't see energy. And quite frankly, I'm open to debate this on a live webinar with anyone. And I will draw pictures. I'll go head to head with any teacher out there, because I know exactly how this works. And I know exactly what harm it is causing people that are practicing this mortal law. And this is actually why, in this drawing right here, I drew a little picture of being in balance, spirit, soul, body, mind, And when you are attracting something, you can certainly resonate and pull more of that particular aspect in. But again, if you're not attuned and working out of wholeness, you're creating a negative flux in every other area of your life. And this is why when somebody wins the lottery, they lose that $1 million just a couple years later, and they're actually in probably worse shape than they were before. Or relationships, or whatever it might be, because you're not attuned. It'd be like playing a guitar and one string is in perfect attunement. And then the other 5 strings are out of tune. So it's like, it would sound horrible, trust me. And let me just say this, because this is really important to understand. Do you attune to God, or do you attract God? Well, guess what? I don't know of anybody that's going to attract God. I mean, the Bodhisattva, Jesus, the Buddha, they attuned to the higher frequencies. They did not attract the higher frequencies. It doesn't work that way. That's not the way even physics works, or even quantum physics works. So let me go to the next page, because I want to kind of jump through this and talk a little bit about what you can do to remedy the situation and become more whole. So and you saw my little picture earlier of the mind, body, soul thing. So when we kind of get everything in balance, we attune to the whole. So you got mind, you got coherence, and I've got 1 through 12 really in each of these, because that's kind of really the way I see things. And that's actually the sacred number 12. 12 plus the 1, which equals a whole. That's a different conversation. But anyway, so 12 creates a coherence, and then you attune to the higher self, the whole, when you are in total resonance. And so the circle that I drew on the last page with the 3 different legs, mind, body, soul, here you're seeing an attunement where it's really, think about it as an overlay. So you're in sync. This is a synchronization. So when you find that perfect partner, you haven't attracted each other. You've actually attuned to each other. It's like playing, now you've got the guitar and it's perfectly in tune. And all 6 strings, when you strum that guitar, are amazingly beautiful sounding and creates this amazing harmony. Hence, harmonic evolution. Huh? What a great name. I guess I should have maybe taken it. Oh, I did. Thank you. So think about it also, even in the quantum aspect, because in the quantum, you've got 2 particles occupying the same space. So again, they've attuned to each other. They've not attracted to each other. Because attraction, again, draws a particle or a wave or human being out of its particular orbit. Now, with that being said, I mean, you can certainly practice the law of attraction, but the law of attraction has to be done with an attunement. It has to be done where you are practicing that and really kind of in resonance with the whole. And there's really one law of attraction teacher that I know. He's a dear friend of mine who actually teaches it the right way. Mark Harton. I just kind of messed up his last name. Houghton. Anyway, so Mark is absolutely phenomenal. And so if you ever do want to study the law of attraction, I recommend you pinging Mark and finding him. He's got this consciousness group on Facebook and yada, yada, yada. So anyway, getting back to the law of attunement, which is really where everyone should be based in. We should be based in the law of attunement. We should be focused on how to attune to create a resonance so that we are in harmony. We are not out of harmony, because when we are in harmony, we are creating a dynamic that is service to all, not service to self. We are creating this expansion in our electromagnetic fields that is lifting others up, because we are creating this the greater wholeness. So with that, I would love y'all, because I'm trying to keep these videos around 15 minutes max. I was actually really originally trying to keep them under 10, but It's just a lot to cover, so I'm trying to squeeze a bunch in. So leave me a comment. Go, Joe, you're absolutely nuts. Or you go like, Joe, wow, I never really thought about law of attraction that way. That's kind of crazy. So these people, well, and then of course I can go down a rabbit hole and talk to you about words, because words are kind of crazy too. And of course you probably have heard that the words you use can actually have a negative effect, just like thinking. But what you don't know is there are certain words out there, like manifest, that actually have had a spell cast on them. Yeah, that's right. And of course that's a whole different conversation from going all the way back to the Phoenicians. So you look at money as a currency. Money actually in the United States and other national currencies actually has hidden symbology in it. And I don't want to go down that rabbit hole too far, but I will tell you that, for an example, the United States dollar has an owl. Now, the owl is the symbol for the Bohemian Club, but what's more important about the owl is that the owl is known as the silent killer. Now, I love owls. Owls are cool. I mean, but they're known as a silent killer because they fly at night. Their feathers are such that they fly completely silently, so their prey doesn't know. And of course, they have this incredible eyesight that allows them to see into the night. So, guess why that particular animal was chosen by evil people, and why from words to different things we use like money, and I try to bless. I bless all the money that comes into my life, because I'm really kind of pushing that away. And you may think I'm kind of crazy, but there is a great deal of proof, and if you want me to go down the money rabbit hole, I can do that as well. But right now, I'm going down in the spellings with regards to words. But right now, I want to focus on the law of attraction, because the law of attraction, I want you to leave me a comment and let me know what you think. Love to hear your thoughts. And thank you again for subscribing to my channel. And I love you guys. Thank you. I appreciate you bearing with me, even though, and I can go like really crazy. I mean, there's some stuff that I'm actually afraid like I'd have like spiritual people coming to hunt me down or something. Anyway, because again, some of these teachings have been going on for 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 years, and they're absolutely set up to put you in a box, to create a dogma around your belief system, and entrap you here in Earth School. And there's people that just have been blind and have not been able to see this. And so from all my heart, I'm teaching this. I will be teaching other false teachings in the future, because I am vested in your evolution and ascension. So with that, I'm Joe Heller, and I'm absolutely thrilled that you're here with me today. So much love, and we'll talk soon. Bye-bye.